Don't you think you're a little too big for that box? When the snow builds up on the roof, it starts to leak. I just finished putting together a family Christmas project that I've been working on for quite some time, collecting photos and videos from various family members' phones, hard drives, tablets, old laptops, backups, you name it, assembling it, organizing it, and putting it on a single hard drive that I will install at my family's house that they can access when they want to. And as I finished it up and imagined myself bringing it home, I heard a few of my family members saying, I don't have time to figure that out. I don't have time to learn how that works or to use it, even though they would really enjoy looking at these photos and watching these videos. So I've been thinking about this statement, I don't have time, which I hear all the time from clients, friends, family members, etc. So I know it's not about time. I know that time is not the issue here. So I've been spending a few moments reflecting on this and trying to get to the bottom of what it might be instead. And what's showing up for me is that what people really don't have is a sense of access. They don't know how to engage with this technology or with this process. Whatever it is that you're trying to do that you don't have time for, it's probably a lack of access. I don't know how to go from who I am with what I know into that new step, into that new process, into that new technology, and take steps there. I don't know what that looks like. That feels alien to me. And the sense that I have when I try to imagine myself doing it is one of discomfort. It doesn't feel good to be confronted by something that is alien that you don't know how to access. So it's not that you don't have time. It's just that you don't want to spend time being uncomfortable. You don't want to spend time banging your head against something that you don't think you can figure out. So what I've got to do with my family regarding this project is to help them find access. Instead of dumping a hard drive in their lap and saying, yay, look at this, photos, videos, have fun, enjoy, yay, look at me, I did a good thing. What I really need to do is show them how to access it. And that's what I spend most of my time as a coach doing, showing people how to access this thing that they believe they want to do, but they don't have time for today. I don't have time to exercise today. I don't have time to go for a walk. I don't have time for self-care. That's not it. You don't know how to do it. You don't know what the access point is. So when you try, it just ends up being wasted time because you don't know how to get in there. So what I got to do is help my family, help my clients, hopefully help people on YouTube see what the first step is. Here's what it looks like. This is how you go from wanting to do something to actually doing it. So the next time you hear yourself saying, I don't have time for that, stop, think again. You probably just don't know how to access it. So what would the first step look like? And if you can figure that out, you can get it done. All right, I'm off to get dressed and go, I think, jog up a snowy mountain in heavy boots. My first big boot slog of the year. We'll see if it happens. I don't know, but I'm going to point myself in that direction. Peace. I got myself to the Bald Mountain Trail, and it's going to be dark shortly, so I can't go far. I think I'm going to head a mile up the mountain, turn around, get 2 miles. My first boot slog of the year. I've got my Mios overshoes over my running shoes, and they've got super good traction and a really wide base, so it's harder to twist an ankle. Anyway,
I'm loving this. I'm having a good time, and all of the things that I imagined would happen if I went outside, that I was going to be so cold and wet and miserable and the effort was going to be too much. Well, here I am, not cold, not wet, not miserable. The effort is there, but it's not a problem. I don't mind it at all. In fact, I feel much better than I did sitting in my studio thinking about how awful things were going to be. And this is an important thing to become aware of and to acknowledge, that the prejudgment of the activity is always worse than the activity itself. And the feeling of being in the midst of that simulation where you're imagining the activity and you're prejudging it, coming up with a prediction of how it's going to turn out, that experience itself feels terrible. So sitting in the studio thinking about getting out here was a much, much, much worse experience than being out here. But that's what our brains do. So we have to learn to work with them and take the steps outside of those predictions, outside of that linguistic narrative in our left hemisphere, and engage with our embodied experience in our right hemisphere, and suddenly here we are, smiling. See ya. I've come up with a new exercise. I call it squat clearing. So as I'm slogging along, I see a branch. I've got to come down into a deep squat, throw it off the trail. And I've already done like 20 squats in the middle of my run. Normally what I do is I just kick the branches off the trail. But now I'm excited to be doing squats throughout my run as I clean up the trail, make it nicer for other people and myself. And I don't have to think about doing squats at some point on a calendar. I can just run along until I see a branch in the trail. It's like, ooh, squat, squat, squat. This is fun. Squat. Ooh, look at that. I think that's gonna be like 3 squats. So Tim, tell me, what did you do today to make the world a better place? I did squat. I see a face. It's like a Donald Duck. No, it's a porpoise. Maybe it's some kind of white whale. And it's got like a little Hail Caesar. Ooh, are those horns? It's a horny white wolf. Somebody's in prison.